Greetings, friends. Welcome to Retracing My Africa in the Diaspora. It's Dr. Muyoka. Karibu sana. Guys, I'm in Kitale. I'm at my parents' place. So I wanted to do this video on the January visa bulletin. But before I begin, I thought I could just show you sights and sounds of our home, most especially the little garden we have here. I have company. That's my dog, Jumpy. Yeah. And she's sleeping. She's tired. She was running around last night. Yeah. So guys, that's what it looks like here. If you are here, it's very quiet, guys. There's no noise. What you'll be hearing is bees, birds, and maybe a little bit of farm work here and there. Other than that, guys, you don't hear that noise that you'll be hearing in the cities like in Nairobi, or if you're in Kigali, Dar es Salaam, the big cities in Africa, in Accra. You're not going to hear any of the noises that you hear in the big city. You literally will just be hearing um, the sounds of animals and insects. Yeah. So it's really nice and cool here. I love it. I'm enjoying being here. Yeah, guys, having said that, let me put down my camera stand so that we can begin our conversation. Yeah. Okay. Let me flip the camera so you can see me. Hello. Yeah, I don't know if y'all can see me very well. I'm sitting on the ground. I'm just sitting down, yeah, on the grass. Yeah, nothing much going on here. Yeah, guys, I know by now most of you have seen that the US State Department has published the January Visa Bulletin. And a lot of people are surprised, some are dismayed, some are wondering what is going on, because the cutoff number that was listed for January 2025 is consistent with the cutoff number for February 2025. And so people are wondering, there's no movement in the numbers. What's going on? So first of all, I want to start by saying that, this cutoff number was very high for January. But even the cutoff number that we were first given in the month of October 2024 for the DV-2025 program, it was too high, guys. Yeah, and I have evidence to prove my point. I went back and I was kind of just looking at what has been going on the last couple of years in 2021, in 2022, 2023, and this year 2024. What really has been going on? What have the numbers been looking like for the first quarter of the fiscal year, yeah, of the DV program for those years that I've mentioned? So I'm just, for anybody who has time to listen, I'm going to be making a case for you to understand why you don't need to be too concerned. Okay. In the fiscal year 2022, which started at the tail end of 2021, we saw very low case numbers being listed. And that's understandable because we were having COVID that year, 2021. We had COVID. So the October cutoff number was 2,675, believe it or not. Yeah. And then in November, it moved to 5,300. Yeah, and by December they were looking at 7,000 as the cutoff number. So the fiscal year for 2022 was not a really good one because of the COVID pandemic. The numbers of visa applicants that were being reviewed were very limited. So it's not a good year to really use as an example. But when you move to DV 2023, in the year 2022, when things were starting to get a little bit stable, I'm going to read to you what was happening in October, November, and December. In October and November, the cutoff number was 5,700. Okay? Yeah, that's DV 2023, the beginning of that fiscal year, which started in October of 2022. So October and November, we had 5,700. And then in December of that year, it jumped to 9,000, a significant improvement. Okay? But please, guys, remember that in the year 2022, even though things had improved a little bit compared to in 2020 and 2021, a lot of embassies were still reeling from the effects of the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. And so you still had embassies dealing with the backlog. Yeah, keep that in mind. That's why you don't see very high case numbers that time. Yeah, cut off numbers, I meant to say. But now when we move to DV 2024, yeah, DV 2024, which was happening at the tail end of 2023, October, November, and December. Let me read you the numbers. The cutoff number for October and November, 10,000. Then when you look at December of the same year, there was a slight increase to 11,000. Yeah, that was the beginning of the fiscal year for DV 2024. Yeah, which was I was a participant in. Yeah, so we didn't have a lot of movement. Maybe this is the argument I'm trying to make. At the beginning of the program, you don't typically have a lot of movement. You begin to see more significant movement as the year progresses. Okay, so we had a very slight activity or what I mean is a slight increment from 10,000 to 11,000 by December, and then by January is when you saw a leap, and this leap was by like a cool 11,000, because we went from 11,000 cutoff number. By January it was at 22,000. Yeah, so we expect to see something similar as time is going on. We expect to see a high increase in the cutoff numbers as time goes on into the new year 2025. So guys, don't be too concerned that the cutoff number didn't move much. In fact, the reason why it didn't move much is because the KCC, the Kentucky Consular Center, issued very high cutoff number at the beginning. You know, if they had just followed the strategy they usually follow, maybe we would not be seeing this stagnation, because they're kind of waiting for the embassies to move on with whatever visas they're dealing with, maybe at this time. And then remember, guys, around this time of year, there's usually not a lot of activity going on. Yeah, you know, we are ending the year. December is a festive season, and then January is also people just recovering from the holidays. So there's not a lot of activity going on at the beginning, but as time moves and people get, you know, maybe adjust to the new year, then you'll see some activity, I promise you. Yeah, I had a case number. My case number was 22,000 something, and I got my second notification number in December of 2023, and then had an interview the following year in Feb, around 6 weeks following the contact from KCC. So I think those of you who are saying that you have low case numbers and still haven't heard from KCC, what my advice would be to you is you really need to focus on preparing yourself. Because when these guys are ready to contact you, they'll contact you, and then everything will start to move very quickly. Yeah, and it's very important for you to be ready, you know, because you might just be complaining about not hearing from KCC or from the embassy, but you're not even ready yourself. Have you finished your vaccinations? Have you made sure that you have the resources that you will need? Because remember, these visas are damn expensive. A migrant visa right now is costing $330, and if you are with family, if you have a spouse and children, this is going to cost you quite a bit of money. And then you'll also need to go to IOM, the International Organization for Migration. There you'll need to pay more money. In fact, I've seen their new costs. During the time when I was applying for my visa, I paid like $150. That's about how much I paid for at the IOM. And now their base cost right now, just to do like the X-ray for TB alone, you're not doing vaccines or anything else, they're going to be charging you $210 if you're an adult, $210. If you have children, I think it's going to be slightly more. So you're looking at a lot of cost around the medicals and also the visas, you see. So guys, one of the things I would say right now, as you wait to hear from the State Department, and you will hear from them, as you wait to hear from them, my advice, Find the resources if you don't already have the resources, and complete your vaccinations if you haven't already done that. Yeah, and if you're already on the way doing your vaccines, kudos to you. I'm happy for you. And I would really, really encourage you to also have faith. Have some faith, guys. Don't be too stressed out. Don't entertain anxiety, and don't start thinking that maybe these guys have forgotten about you and they're not going to issue you a notification letter to allow you to go for your interview. No, that's not what's going to happen. You will get your second notification letter. Just be patient. When January comes around, if they still haven't contacted you and time is moving on, then you can also send an email to KCC. I used to send them emails when I had questions. So you could send an email. They usually respond. They will tell you if there's a problem. They will tell you. Yes. So, guys, I wanted to still share with you a little bit of data before I go. So I was explaining to you that in DV 2024, by January, we had jumped to 22,000. And so, guys, if you look at the last couple of years, the months of January, February, March, and April, they're very interesting. And I'm talking about all these 3 years, 2021, 22, 23, and 24. By January, no, excluding 2021, it's 22, 23, and 24. By January, this cutoff number was anywhere between 20K and 22K. And then by February, you still have upwards of, in fact, DV 2023, they had 35,000 as their cutoff number for February. Yeah, DV 2023. And then DV 2024, which was my year, they had 26,500 as the cutoff number. Yeah. And so if we are to look at these numbers, to me, I feel like if I just look at these 2 years, DV 2023 and 2024, guys, I would really, really be confident that come end of February, early March, we're going to see a leap in the numbers. So we're going to go from 22,000, you're likely to see something like 35,000 or even higher. I think so. I think you could see something higher than that. And then by March, we'll be looking at 40K plus. Yeah. So if you're anywhere in that range, 35,000 to 45K, you should expect to see something happening for you in just around the months of February and March there. Yeah, in Feb and March, you should see those numbers being listed on the cutoff, on the visa bulletin as cutoff numbers. I believe so. Yeah, that's what I think. And so by the time we get to April, people who are in their 45,000 to 50,000, that's what should be happening. That's the cutoff number I expect to see around that time in April. So guys, and I also want to share with you something. You know, every embassy is not operating the same way. Okay, some embassies are doing very well, and then some embassies are not doing very well. Yeah. So part of how you're processed will be depending on the embassy, your designated embassy. That's going to be having an effect on the processing of your visa. Yeah. So very quickly, let me list for you several factors that contribute to maybe delay in processing of your visa. It could be, like I said, the embassy. So if this embassy has a long waiting list or maybe a backlog, that can be an issue. Also, holidays sometimes may contribute. Tech issues, technology issues can contribute overall in how quickly the Kentucky Consular Center, KCC, issues this case numbers to the embassies. And then there's, of course, a background check for certain individuals. If you're traveling in certain countries, the US government can decide to just investigate a little bit more and find out what it is that you are doing in these countries and whether you're a risk to them. That could delay your application. And so your background check could do that. And then, of course, as we have seen in the past, pandemics like the COVID pandemic, that contributed in the delay. So there's always something legit that could contribute to the delay. And once that is addressed, then you just go back to normal. So what you can do, guys, is also pray that your embassy is able to process your visa within a good time so that you can get on with your life, pack your bags, migrate to America, and start your new life. Guys, I'm here to wish you the very best of of luck. I hope things work out for you and that you're able to get the visa that you're desiring to get so that you can migrate. That's what I wanted to say. I hope you found this video useful, guys. Please give it a like if you liked it. And by all means, if you haven't already followed, kindly follow. I'd love to have you here. And with that said, kindly allow me to check out. And let me check out because my dog Jumpy has also checked out. There she is. She fell asleep. She was so tired. All right, guys. Cheers. Until another time. It's goodbye from me. Bye-bye.